Hey guys, it's the Chad, and today I want to talk to you about tires. Now, if you've watched any of my other previous videos, you know that I go through and buy and sell a lot of old junk trucks each year, and I flip a lot of wheels and tires too. Now, a common question I get when I go through to sell a set is, are the tires any good? Well, that's a great question, but what makes a tire good or bad? Well, you'll have to stick around to find out. So a lot of the tires that I buy to flip or that come on these old junk trucks have pretty decent tread left to them, but are they any good or are they safe to drive on? Well, that depends. In today's video, I'm going to go through and talk about what makes a good or a bad tire, and I'm going to give you my top 10 reasons why I think you should be looking to replace your old tires. Tires are one of the most important but probably the most neglected pieces of safety equipment on a vehicle. Now, poor tire maintenance can lead to premature tire wear, a flat tire, or even a blowout. Now, all the old junk trucks that I buy each year have completely worn out suspension parts. None of them are in alignment, and I guarantee not one of the wheels and tires are properly balanced. Now, all these things play a significant role in how a tire wears and its overall performance. So that leads to the big question, what makes a tire bad? Number one is going to be a tire's age. Tires are made up of rubber and steel, and they're eventually going to break down. Most tire manufacturers are going to recommend replacing their tires between 5 and 7 years, with 10 years being the max, no matter how much tread life you have left. So let's say you just went out and bought a used vehicle. How in the heck are you supposed to know how old those tires are if you don't know any history? Well, that's pretty easy. If you're not aware, tires have a manufacturer date or a born-on date stamped on the sidewall. Now, this DOT number is usually 11 characters long, but we're only going to be focused on the last 4. You'll find these last 4 in like a little small oval. The first 2 characters are going to be the week that tire was manufactured, and the last 2 are going to be the year. So if you see 1318, that tire was manufactured on the 13th week of 2018. Pretty cool, huh? So now that you know how to read tire dates, when you go through to go get your next set of tires at the shop, one thing I'd highly encourage you to do is ask to see all 4 of the tires before they put it on your vehicle. It's not uncommon for a tire to sit in a shop for a year or more, especially if it's not a very common sized tire. You don't want to go through and spend a lot of money on a set of tires that are already a quarter of the way through its life. So again, if you're looking to buy that new or used tire, make sure you read the born-on date. Now, I'm not going to tell you what store I'm at right here, but one of the tires they had on display for sale, it was over 4 years old already. It's lived most of its life, and it hasn't even been installed on a vehicle yet. So don't waste your hard-earned money on a tire like this. So number 2 would be a tire that is bald or has very minimal tread depth. A tire like this can evacuate water or moisture underneath of it. Now, a slick may be great for the drag strip, but it's extremely dangerous on our public roadways because you can hydroplane. Now, most state laws require at least 2 30-seconds tread depth to keep it on the road. So number 3 would be a tire that has belts or cords exposed. Now, generally this is because the vehicle is out of alignment or potentially that the tires haven't been rotated. Now, as the vehicle travels down the roadway, it's going to be wearing on one side or the other. You do need to inspect your tires periodically because if this is wearing on the inside of the tire, you may never see it until you have that blowout. So number 4 would be a tire that is overinflated. This is where you'd have hardly any tread in the center section, but quite a bit on the outside edges. That's because with the tire being overinflated, only the center section is actually making contact with the roadway. So it is very important that you check your tire pressure periodically. So number 5 would be a tire that is underinflated. You would have a lot of tread in the center, but none on the outside edges, because that tire is kind of concaved in the middle and only the outside edges are making contact with the roadway. So again, make sure you check your tire pressure. Number 6 would be a cupped or a flat spotted tire. Now, if you have a cupped tire, you can usually see that, but you can most definitely feel it. If you just run your hand along the tire tread, that's the erratic wearing of that tire tread. Now, that can be caused by several things. Failure to rotate your tire, you may have a bad shock or strut causing that tire to bounce all the time up and down the road, or an extremely out of balance tire. Now, a lot of times you can also hear that cupped tire as you're driving down the roadway. It almost sounds like a wheel bearing going out. And then we have the flat spotted tires. That's a condition where the tire actually kind of forms to the ground because of its lack of use. Now, we usually see that on trailers, campers, RVs, things like that. Now, you'll know when you have a flat spotted tire. It'll about shake you to death as you're driving down the roadway. Sometimes that tire will recover, and sometimes it just needs to be replaced. Number 7 would be a tire with a bulge. Now, this can happen on the tread face or the sidewall, and it's extremely dangerous. Usually this happens because we hit a curb really hard, we hit some type of road debris, or you're doing some Dukes of Hazzard jumping over train tracks. A lot of time that sidewall gets pinched in between the hard object and the actual rim itself, and it causes a knot. Now, if you ever see these tire bulges, you need to immediately take that vehicle out of service and get that tire replaced. So number 8 would be a tire that's cracked or dry rotted. Now, there's several reasons why a tire can crack, age just being one of them. Now, a tire that's exposed to extreme conditions such as snow, rain, ice, sun, and even some of the chemicals that get put down on our roadway for these winter storms can cause tires to crack sooner. Now, it doesn't matter how much tread depth we have on these tires, they may be unsafe. You got to think, once these cracks start happening, water can actually penetrate these cracks and start rusting these belts kind of from the inside out. Next thing you know, you have this tread separation or a massive blowout. Number 9 would be a tire that has too many repairs or too many patches. Most tire manufacturers only recommend repairing their tires 2 times, and that's if the damage is in 2 different separate areas. Now, most tire repair shops aren't going to go through and repair a tire that has any kind of damage to the outside tread or on a sidewall, just due to safety concerns. Now, I'm not going to say I haven't gone through and shoved a plug in the sidewall of a tire and drove it another 10,000 miles, but it's probably not the safest thing to do. And number 10 would be a tire that has cuts or some type of chunking. Now, if you guys observe some type of cut in the sidewall of your tire like this one, I highly encourage you to take it to your tire dealer, have them inspect it to make sure it's still safe to drive on. And then we have tire chunking. That's when pieces of the tread are chewed up or just missing. Usually that's because of the poorly maintained roads that we drive on. Now, I'm pretty sure that the city I live in, they must have stock in some type of tire repair shop, because this is the crud they put down on our road. Now, there's really not much I can do about it other than just drive a little bit slower. So now you guys have seen my top 10 reasons why I think a tire may be bad or should be replaced. But remember, these are just my recommendations. You get to make that final decision whether to risk it or replace them. Now, if you guys know of any other reason why a tire may be bad, type that down in the old clickety-clack. And while you're there, hit that like button and subscribe. And make sure you stick around for my next video. There we'll be talking about ways to improve tire performance and extend the life of your old tires. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.